Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the MTG Arena Run. Today we are celebrating FNM at home standard. We are also, so it's basically just every standard deck possible. I decided to keep it very simple because most people at this point probably don't have Kaldheim setups unless you're flush with cash and you just spend it all on packs. So maybe throw a few some my way if you guys can afford. But the idea here is that for most people that don't have that much in the way of cash, what's a very quick one to get into? Well, mono red is a good is always a good standard standby, but I figured I'd try something a little bit different. Let's not just do the original mono red. I was gonna just do my original Dimir control, but I decided let's go for fast games rather than going for games that take forever. Like if I do a best of 3 match with my Dimir control, that could take up to an hour just by itself. So this one is just basically mono red with OBOSH the Prey Piercer. So if you don't remember, OBOSH wants every card in every non-land card to be have an odds converted mana cost, and sources that are odd will deal double the damage instead. So what are our main payoffs? So we got plenty of creatures. Akum Hellhound, nice 2 damage most of the time. Fervent Champion, always a good standard. Fireblade Charger, because especially if you can get the buff from OBOSH and the buff from Heraldic Banner. Also running a few copies of Ginger Brute as extra 1-drop insurance. We also have 3 copies of Frostbite. Probably should be 4, but I'm running 3 for now. We can just make this 4 probably sub out a Shock or maybe one of our top end creatures. Speaking of which, we have the usual Bone Crusher Giant, Annex Hardened in the Forge, 2 Heraldic Banner. This one could be bumped up. 2 copies of Phoenix of Ash just to get a little extra inevitability, and some Slaying Fire just in case. Aside from the Snow-Covered Mountains and the Frostbite, the other awesome sorcerer running is Goldspan Dragon, which always good as a nice flying haste creature. Sometimes just get in those last points of damage, piece of cake. Now you notice because we are running mono red, we have no Torbran, we have no Embercleave. I'm running mono red without the 2 best red cards ever, so will this work or will this just go down in flames? A few test games, it was fine, it was okay. I want to see how otherwise this goes out. I am also open to a red-black version running, say, Serrated Scorpions, Call of the Death Dwellers, just to get some of these guys back. Just Woe Strider adds additional inevitability that way. Something to consider even without benefiting from all the sacrificing. We could also just run a Terra Grid to go along with that, but well, we'll do the regular mono red first. If it doesn't pan out that much, you won't be seeing this video. You'll probably see the black-red version in that case. But let's just get a few games in. We'll see if we can make any changes we make will probably be in the 1 and 3 mana slot. I don't foresee any additional 5 mana creatures we add, so perfect setup. I usually would prefer to have a burn spell backup, so Shock is fine. Now this one is signaling Ascendant Spirit, though it looks... maybe not. Opponent missed the Ascendant Spirit wagon if that's the case. Okay, Foretell, so we're going for the... we're gonna play the full Hellhound because we know we have to drop afterwards. Now, if I see black, I might hold back on the Annex because Extinction Event on odd just... okay, no, this is not it, so we might be fine. Yeah, especially if our opponent's drawing cards, we're fine. So we're dealing 6 damage next turn. Now, I'm actually going to play the Annex first. I was going to say it was going to force the opponent to answer Annex. Just got to concede instead, so I'll take that. That's pretty much why you want to have a lot of one drops there. You want to pressure these decks to take quite a while. Everyone's been saying Kaldheim... all the Kaldheim editions support a slower, more laid-back version of the laid back meta, so we're doing an aggro deck just to punish that punish that notion. So not bad. Nice reward. So we're gonna keep going at that one. We'll see how many games we can steal. We probably are in trouble against other aggro decks, or at least we're also in trouble if our opponent runs any form of mass wipe. So red. Okay, this one is suboptimal. We at least got a Ginger Brute to start with, but I would much rather have another one drop instead of the Annex. Double Annex here. It's also tempting to actually run some of the auras, like Fury of the Bitten. It's a nice slam on one of these. I just don't like the idea of being 2 for 1. I probably will just drop this, so hold up the opponent pretty much knows that if our opponent's familiar with the meta, they know all I have is so my concern is that okay, 3 mana. Since we're currently the beatdown, I am not incentivized to I'm not incentivized to do anything. I'm just incentivized to swing. The opponent goes for the Bone Crusher. We're gonna deny our opponent the Bone Crusher. Then we'll see if our opponent has the miscast. So opponent probably has counter spells at this point. We're just gonna run out. We'll probably just run out Annex first. We have two if we need it. So opponent's, yeah, this is definitely control. Unfortunately, we have a very slow start, so that's not so great for us. We can at least get Annex into a 3/3 with the Bone Crusher Giant. Opponent could also just have cards like Elspeth Conquers Death. There you go. Kind of drawing too many lands at this point. Let's just play the second one, show why we have a very slow lead. We're probably not gonna win, especially if our opponent just gets the Bone Crusher Giant back. And the opponent gets all the kitties in the line. Shark Typhoon, yeah, it's that control, so got one shot at it. So I'm actually going to swing with this one. Let's see if our opponent goes for the double block. So not too bad, though our opponent gets Bone Crusher back. We're down to just a Slaying Fire, though we could just Slaying Fire OBOSH. I need to see if our opponent is gonna go aggressive and just start dumping all their enchantments. This is definitely the weakness of. And the thing is, that's not gonna land anymore. I could just swing away anyway. So the trick is I can castle Embret to just give me a few creatures up top. We're also opponent's down to their last card too. if our opponent has a counter for this. We'll take the 2. Okay. So I got a bunch of few creatures, but well, without Embercleave, it's not something to be scared of. We just have Slaying Fire backup. We can just bring OBOSH back in. Let's see if the 1/1s can get the job done. Or if our opponent has a Doomscar. I'm pretty sure our opponent has a Doomscar. Elspeth conquers death just to get the token down. How many cards do we have in yard? We actually have quite a few. So I might just... Somehow we're holding on. One's gonna get the Bone Crusher Giant back. So he would have preferred to... Okay. Kind of fine. At least it's a net nothing. That's a net something. So I'm going to go for the Phoenix of Ash, and maybe if depending on what we draw, we might go for the Breaker. Let's see if our opponent actually has counter spells. Nope. So opponent gets the giant back. Opponent's now kind of forced to block Phoenix of Ash. Or just get an Ugin. We'll probably lose everything. Well, our opponent won't lose this, but it will wipe the board of everything else. Opponent might actually just bolt this, which makes more sense. Yep. So we will take the 4 from here. But this is pretty much over at this point. We took way too long. Because yeah, this one doesn't do anything. We can safely concede. Well, it is a mono red deck. You either win quickly or lose quickly. I'm actually surprised we lasted this long. But that was kind of inevitable in that sense. So I'm actually okay with that one. Again, we did keep a subpar hand, double Annex. I'm also considering a red-white version of the build. White gives you Skyclave Apparition. You won't get Winota, but well, that's fine. I think everyone's tired of Winota at this point. So you won't get Winota. You won't get... Actually, quite a lot of things you won't get. You will get access to Doomscar. So this one's fine. It's a virtual 1-2-3. And our opponent's playing control, so we might be able to stand a chance. The little meme creature that could. Opponent's playing green. Okay, this is an Absan deck. There might be so Maze Mind Tome. So we will play the Fervent Champion. Again, we are super vulnerable to an extinction event that this deck most likely has. Can't really do much about that one. Opponent is going for the early scry, so they are looking for gas. So I want to prioritize Bone Crusher Giant and Phoenix of Ash. No, Bone Crusher Giant first. I'll try to play Phoenix of Ash later, because this one comes out as a surprise. OBOSH would be a nice pull as well. Holding up Slaying Fire is fine, I guess. In the worst case scenario, we're just basically swinging these and pumping. Opponent, oh, Sultai cultivate. So this is ramp into Emergent Ultimatum. So we are on the clock. So it's a question of, can we deal enough damage? Tempted to just run this out. Because if our opponent doesn't put on an actual creature, I could just end of turn Slaying Fire. It will negate the Maze Mind Tome at least. If our opponent drops something big, we can just slay that instead. If our opponent goes picking these off, we do have room to start dropping the bigger threats, though our opponent is going to take... knock some time off. I'm actually hoping for... Extinction Event is kind of fine at least. I'm concerned about overextending. Opponent's going for the Cultivate. So the question is, do I just 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We have a plan. Now opponent does have 4 life in addition, so let's see if our opponent has to eliminate. I'm actually kind of fine with that at this point. We need, because our opponent is about to drop Emergent Ultimatum. My question is, will we be able to snipe our opponent from out of it? Heartless Act on the Ginger Brew. Yeah, that's fine. So next turn we're probably gonna go Phoenix Bone Crusher, Phoenix Stomp, binding the Old Gods. Very inefficient. I'll take that. Opponent going for the Yorion, so we are gonna play Phoenix of Ash. And just hold up Stomp for the extra damage. Opponent will probably go back to 11 life after this. They will just blink the binding with Yorion. So 10, 9, 8, 7. So we can at least take our opponent back down to 9 life. Then we get to decide if we want to crash the Phoenix of Ash again. Also, we're just waiting to see if our opponent actually casts Emergent Ultimatum. Now, it will also depend on what 3 cards our opponent gets. I definitely don't want our opponent to get Valky. They cannot get They can't get Coma. So the plan is actually probably just Bone Crusher Giant, OBOSH the Prey Piercer. Then and see if we can set up Phoenix or OBOSH that way. Opponent to see. Opponent's drawing cards, which is... Well, I think that means our opponent is going to play Yorion. I actually hope our opponent links the Maze Mind Tome. I hope they go for the greed play, because that means we can get them down to 5 life, then 3 life, and so forth, so on. Let's see, do they go greedy? Please blink Maze Mind Tome. Nope, conservative, so they are at 11 life. And just like this. We only have 3 cards here, so we only get 1 actual shot. It'd be nice if we could get our opponent to down even lower life. I actually forgot to put Shatter Skull Smashing. Well, actually, we can't put that in. That's actually has an even CMC. So that's not gonna fit in this deck. So we're actually missing out on a lot of cards just to make just for OBOSH, and we're not even sure if it works properly. Got ourselves an Annex. Pressure Giant. Also note that we do have a card issue, so let's say we go black red, we do have access to village rights. That's actually a good out. If we go mono red, we actually can go for what's the name of that god? The one that turns into a horn. One is still waiting for that emergent ultimatum. Could be another binding, which would slow us down quite a bit. If this is just Yorion Sagas, that's fine. Opponent going for damage. Okay, so it means they do have a way to clear this one. Probably an extinction event. It's probably extinction event. That's really the only explanation for, especially swinging now. Get your value in. Yes, extinction event. Let's see if our opponent has another Yorion. That would be annoying. No, they do not. So 5, 6. Best bet's to go for it. If our opponent has removal, our opponent has removal. I'm pretty sure our opponent cracks the Maze Mind Tome now. There is no reason to stay in this. Well, Kill Spell also works. Does he finally crack the Maze Mind Tome? Yes. So we're actually gonna just Bone Crusher our opponent now. Kinda wish we had more damage, but we did need to put our opponent, give our opponent that much pressure. Still waiting for that emergent ultimatum, but we're in not a great position to cast that now. Next turn we probably just go OBOSH Bone Crusher. Try to get some more cards in the yard again. There's the emergent ultimatum. Let's see what the 3 cards our opponent gets. Like, actually Valky by this point is probably not so bad. Actually, no, it's probably still bad. Let's see what 3 cards our opponent gets. I'm actually okay with Kiora Best the Sea God because... Actually, no, we're not okay with that because even if I play... Okay. So, Balaged Recovery, Alrund's Epiphany. So, what does he get back? Okay. Binding if ever. So, I'm actually gonna shuffle back the Cure Best to Sea God. He gets 2. The Balaged Recovery is the weird one. I have no idea. Probably returns a Binding of the Old Gods. That's the only one that makes sense. But yeah, and you don't have to cast it immediately. Going for the Eliminate, which kind of makes sense. Okay, now. So it's possible that we get swamped with birds right now, but so far we might be okay. Yeah, that timely eliminate on the Phoenix of Ash was annoying. Well, we had to go for it. Actually, no, I don't think we should have gone for it. I think we were better off just playing the Bone Crusher again. No, we already played it. So take the 2. Our opponent probably plays hard. Actually, no, it's Balaged Recovery for Alrund's Epiphany. If he goes... Actually, not going to attack. Gonna put OBOSH back in. Reasons because this is at least 3 life. I want to force our opponent to at least use that Eliminate immediately. But this is not actually looking very good for us. We probably... Again, we're certain. 8, 9, 10. Okay, resolve. Yeah, if you allow the control deck to go this wild, it's pretty much. So we're going to see if our opponent has Epiphany again. They probably do. They just. Oh no, they Balaged for Eliminate. They probably should. The correct play. No, they had no choice. There's the Alrund's Epiphany. We can concede. So Emergent Ultimatum in getting Alrund's Epiphany seems to be the flavor of the month as far as control decks go. I can actually see it in a Titan's Nest shell. So far, not. We did decently against one control deck, but we kind of got stomped by the other 2. It does tell us that we want an even more aggressive opening hand. So let's see if we can avoid a stack of 3 drops again like the last 2 games. I just said avoid a stack of 3 drops. Guess what we got? A stack of 3 drops. And we got only 1 land and it comes into play tap. So this is an auto mulligan for all intents and purposes. Oh, this is sad, but it's a keep. Sometimes that's how it is. Well, sometimes that's how the shuffler works. At least we got the shock and the frostbite ready. I would rather save shock, frostbite, especially if I'm seeing mono red. So the interesting thing we can do is, if we can still hold up first frostbite next turn, just to play the heraldic banner. Opponent might be playing big red, so we might be in a big world of hurt. Also didn't get to hit one of our Goldspan Dragons. It is an argument to have more. Actually, I'm just gonna play this now. If our opponent has a kill spell for this, fine. We'll let our opponent kill it. Also, actually makes Akum Hellhound playable. So next turn we can if our opponent just plays the Crusher Giant, we can Frostbite into Anax. Yeah, we're gonna go Annex first. Then next turn we can play out the Fireblade Charger just to buff this into 4 range and probably couple it with Phoenix of Ash. Opponent's actually it's actually adventures. Except with the super awkward hand. Opponent forced to block. So our plan now is basically just to go Phoenix of Ash in the air. Brushfire Elemental, so... Okay, that's fine. We hit our 5 mana. Yeah, opponent concedes there. I was gonna just shock the Brushfire Elemental. So we managed to... Well, it also helped us that our opponent really got stuck on mana there. They did have a tempo play, but we... Yeah, I guess that is an argument for having... Maybe we could cut some of the Slaying Fires for just more creatures, like another Phoenix of Ash, maybe another Goldspan Dragon. We could also be on the lookout for 3 mana removal, like Flame Spill is a good choice. Also, if I remember correctly, Toral is even, so it won't fit this deck. So many cards that don't fit. And yes, another 1-lander. We are definitely not keeping this. I'm not keeping... Okay, this is better. So, probably bin the Akum Hellhound. So what we can do is Ginger Brute, then Ginger Brute Spike Field Hazard. Then the turn afterwards, Phoenix of Ash. Ginger Brute carrying more weight in these games than some of the other stuff. There's a Thieves Guild Enforcer. Well, that's fine. Opponent's playing Rogues. So this is the litmus test. We really want to have them triple red at this point. Now I do want to hold back because our opponent could just have the... Okay, they didn't play it. So next turn we play Snow-Covered Mountain. I want to play Heraldric. I'll play the banner first. Let's force a counter spell out. If our opponent doesn't counter it, I will just hold the Ginger Brute back. Yep, not countering. So... I will also note that our opponent is not playing the Lurrus version of Rogues, so we might be seeing some bigger cards. We might see a Zaret San, which will probably be bad for us. Okay, let's force our opponent to cast a counter. No counters. Let's see, does he have the drop? Soaring Taut Teeth. We're gonna frostbite it first. If our opponent has the If our opponent has the Drown in the Loch, we can make the Ginger Brute unblockable. Brazen Borrower to bounce that back. So that's actually fine. Lets the Thief die. So it's still very slow going though. That's a problem. Weathered Runestone. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. So not casting this. Oh wait, no, it's back in hand. We can cast it. So we'll cast Annex first. I'm already starting to think that we, instead of 4 Shocks, 3 Frostbites, I'm gonna flip it around to 3 Shocks, 4 Frostbites. Or I might even cut this 1 Spike Field Hazard. Okay, Slaying Fire is good insurance. We'll... Opponent might be running out of gas. Well, we're not in any better shape either. Opponent does seem to be flooded though. Okay, another Frostbite's good. So I'm just concerned about this. Sorry, Taught Thief is fine. Opponent is literally running out of gas now. I'm just waiting for the Zaret Sand to come down. That's really the only reason to run no Lurrus rogues. There's the Zaret Sand. Let's see if he has the Drown in the Loch back up. No, it does not! Ooh. Now, it might not be over yet. Our opponent could have an Extinction event. Yeah. Okay, Blood in the Snow. Gets back Zaret Sand. Oh, cannot get back Zaret Sand. Your Weathered Runestone ruined you. Oh man, I think our opponent's gonna remove that Weathered Runestone afterwards. Opponent had no choice but to Blood in the Snow, but yeah, he got non-booed by his own card. Whoops. So yeah, it's actually good. I'm actually liking this one. Let's see if we can get at least one more win before we call it a day. But yeah, there is quite a bit of room for improvement here. I would say it's a decent budget build. I kind of wish we had better red 1 drops. I guess Strixhaven, maybe you have something for us. Otherwise, we can dip into the black pool. Serrated Scorpion is a good addition. So yeah, we're going for... I'm probably gonna go Fireblade Charger first. Yeah, I'm gonna go Fireblade Charger. The next turn I can decide if I want to Spike Field Hazard Fervent Champion or if I want Snow Covered Mountain Bone Crusher Giant. Or some combination thereof. Well, it really depends. Speaker of the Heavens, Archfiend's Vessel, no Doggo. First we'll see if he blocks. We're gonna spike the speaker because that's the big payoff. Archfiend's Vessel is a roundabout payoff, though it is annoying too. Cleric of Life's Bond, classic. I'm gonna actually just play out the Hellhound instead of sniping the Archfiend's Vessel. But we are probably but we did keep a very sketchy hand, to be honest. Taborax. So we're going to, and Speaker of the Heavens, our opponent just fully unloaded. So we'll take the hit. We will snipe Taborax because that one's annoying and a half. Because whenever another put a +1/+1 counter, we have to kill this first. I'm actually gonna swing with just the Fireblade Charger. We're gonna have problems with the Cleric of Life's Bond eventually, but for now we're trying to see if we can hold our ground. I'm already assuming our opponent has the Call of the Death Dweller. Or an Agadeem's Awakening for 1, that also works. Yep. Yeah, getting stuck on 2 lands is an issue. Ay ay ay. So we're gonna Luminarch Aspirant, so let's see which one our opponent decides to protect. If they protect Speaker, technically we can double block with Fervent Champion anyway, so we're fine. Blood Chief's turn. Okay, maybe not. We can just so block this. Yeah, getting stuck on 2 lands would kill anyone. It wouldn't just kill me. Well, we finally hit our 3rd land, but what are we gonna do? Phoenix of Ash, yeah, there's no way around it. We just took too long. We could. That's probably an issue with running only 22 lands, despite a deck with such a low curve. Well, the low curve is questionable. I probably will add 1 more land. I'll probably... Let's see what are cards we can cut. Probably the Ginger Brute is cut. We can just cut the 1 extra Ginger Brute for another land. Let's play it safe that way. We'll do 1 more game. But I probably will make that change. Just cut 1 Ginger Brute, add 1 more land. Let's sub the Shock and the Frostbite. We're definitely keeping the 4 Spike Field Hazards because those are lands. Although they do mess us up a bit, I might be better off just not running them. Just run regular Snow-Covered Mountains instead. Okay, this is keepable in as much as we have some early plays, but opponent mulligans. It's possible we're looking at the Tibalt's Trickery deck right about now. No, it's just a multi-1. Not necessarily. Okay, Ketria Triome, so... Again, the problem is our mana. We will add 1 more land. Ginger Brute seems to be the weakest of the bunch. Edwall Innkeeper. Oh, we're definitely sniping that one. So it looks like our opponent is playing some sort of adventure style deck. Let's see if our opponent actually has the shock. No, it doesn't have the shock. Okay, we did draw the land. That was fast. I was not expect. Our opponent conceded immediately. Well, what can I say? That was not expected. So how did it go? Well, as expected. If you can't get an early start against control, you get run over. If you can't get a decent, basically, mono red is the kind of deck. If you can't get a decent start, it's kind of all over anyway. So that's how it goes. Again, I will definitely make that. You know what? I'm gonna make that change now. So when I post the deck list, you guys will see the change. Basically, -1 Ginger Brute, +1 Snow Covered Mountain, +1 Frostbite, -1 Shock. Might as well craft it now. And yeah, an argument can also be made like -1 Anax +1 Phoenix, or maybe even -1 Anax +1 Goldspan Dragon. That also looks like a decent one. So we never got to play OBOSH, but that's probably because all our games were either kind of had that inevitability. But it's nice to know that we have OBOSH as backup. I can also see us playing like a red or even a Jund version and just have Jangata as the backup. But that's how it goes. That's it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications and whatnot. Yeah, we're cracking a Terrace pack because that's from the Mastery Pass. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Oh yeah, happy Chinese New Year. Expect the top 10 video based on that one. Take care.